And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel. Today we're taking a look at the new expansion for X-Men, or for Dice Masters. This is X-Men First Class. I really like the X-Men, and this has some of my favorite characters in the Marvel Universe in this game. I like Dice Masters, of course. Let's see what this expansion adds. Here we go. So first, let's take a look at the dice of this set. The Professor X die is really cool, has a nice marbled look to it. The White Queen is fine. This one is nice too. The purple is slightly translucent. Oddly enough, the distribution in this one was weird. I had a few characters that I only got 2 dice for. Normally I get 3 dice for a lot of the characters, or 4. Usually I get 4 of everything, but 3 of a few. But this time I think there was 2 or 3 that I only got 2 dice for. No big deal. Okay, so now let's look at the cards. Sebastian Shaw is the only one that I have who has no special abilities. Pretty interesting, though, because he costs 3 for a 6/6, but he's expensive to put out. He costs 3 to put him out. Now, this set has Awaken. Awaken is a new special ability that basically, when this die goes up a level, for whatever reason, you use a special ability. So when Iceman goes up a level, he can double his attack. Cold Hands, Warm Heart. Now, there's a lot of cards in this set that are going to allow you to spin characters up. So, like, for example, when a character dies damaged and not KO'd, he goes up a level. This one lets you spin all your character dice up 1 level. Xavier's School. When Jean Grey is fielded, you spin all other active character dice to level 1, which, again, gives him a chance to go up. When Blink, one of my favorite characters in the whole Marvel Universe, is active, you can play an action die, spin a target level up 1. Angel lets you spin a character up 1 level. Here I can spin all fielded copies of that character up to level 3. Sabretooth, when spins your other character dice up a level, or all attacking character dice up 1 level. When Wolverine attacks alone, he goes up a level. When Thunderbird attacks, spin all your other X-Men characters up a level. When he's KO'd, spin the other characters up a level. Scarlet Witch, when she's active and you roll a character die, you can spin it up or down a level. So, because of that, there's a lot of these cards. And there's cards in other sets that let you move levels. So now you have these Awakened skills. Here's Cyclops, the Boy Scout. Well, he was a Boy Scout. So this one, I love Quicksilver. Field the next character die for free. Do 3 damage to a target character. KO target sidekick die, or move it from your opponent's prep to their use pile. She gets +2 attack, +2 defense. Havoc here can spend all his energy in a reserve pool, does damage to the target opponent or character die. It's more fun to do it to the opponent. Character dice get +1/+1. Onslaught. Glad they added Onslaught. He didn't turn out to be that powerful of a character in the comics book, but it was such a cool build-up to getting him to come. Where he's unblockable when he's awakened. Jubilee, 1 damage to all opposing character dice. When opposing character is KO'd, she goes up a level and then she awakens and does 1 damage to the target opponent. Dupe, capture an opposing character die. Prep a die from your bag, so that Storm has. So there's a lot of cards in this set with Awaken. That's pretty many. There's also some other special abilities. This is the first one in the last DC set. They Infiltrate. So a few characters here have Infiltrate. And Infiltrate basically says when you attack with a character and they're not blocked, you can remove them from combat and do damage. Or you can just, you can do the normal damage. Or you just do 1 damage to your opponent and bring them back, which is pretty neat. So she has Infiltrate, which is great. Whenever you use an action die, he gives all the other Magneto dice, or people on his team, give Infiltrate. There's also Overcrush in this set. On my cards, I got only Colossus, which is a great special ability. It's been in multiple sets. And Quicksilver here has Impulse, where you can pay something to field him for free on his level 1 side, no matter where he is. There's also a lot of cards that have to do when people are KO'd. So when Beast is KO'd, you can bring out another die. When here he's KO'd, you can prep an action die. Here, when he's KO'd, you can add 2 dice to the use pile to your bag. When she's KO'd, you can bring her back. When Avalanche is KO'd, he takes out everyone else who's level 1. When Dupe is KO'd, you capture somebody to the start of your next turn. When Wolverine is KO'd, you have to go say you're sorry, because who KOs Wolverine? But you can do damage equal to his attack divided to any number of dice, which is really neat, because he has an attack of 8 on his level 3. When Pyro's KO'd, he does damage to people. There's also a lot of dice that have to do with the X-Men specifically. And considering how many X-Men are in this set, Xavier's school here, for example, you can put out free X-Men at level 1. Here you can draw dice so you get an X die from your thing. Havoc lets you spin X-Men dice up. The Blackbeard here lets you not have your X-Men targeted by global abilities. Of course, there's the Sentinel who go after the X-Men, doing 2 damage to them or spinning them all down 1 level and do 2 damage to your opponent for each that cannot spin down. Great card. It costs 7 though, and your opponent has to be playing with X-Men. And then Professor X himself, who is amazing, giving all your X-Men +1/+1, or you spin them all up 1 level at the beginning of your turns. He's a great leader to the X-Men team. There's also some other cool cards in this set. We have the Danger Room, where you can KO someone if someone takes damage. Iceman is back. I like this one here. When he's KO when blocking, you can pay it to KO the blocked character die. Take someone out with him. Sasquatch here. When another character die you control spins up a level, he spins up a level. When he's attacking after blockers are declared, he does 1 damage to each blocking die. We already mentioned that Magneto is in this set. He can spin everyone who's not on his team down a level. Juggernaut, nothing can stop me. Nothing stops the Juggernaut. When a psychic is KO'd, he gets +2 attack and +2 defense. That's a neat card. Kitty Pryde cannot be blocked when attacking alone. Emma Frost is there to stop damage. That shows her diamond is more of a defensive. It's kind of weird artwork actually for what her special abilities are. Havoc and Sunfire. Nocturne, who is not really in the comics that much, but then again, neither was Onslaught. Onslaught cannot be blocked by higher level character dice, which means, now he's an expensive one to bring out. He's 2 across the board, so his 2, 4, 4, but that not being able to be blocked by higher ones is interesting. Jubilee, this is one of the ultra rares that I got. Jean Grey, Havoc, the Hellfire Club. If you control the character die with the highest attack, kill all other character dice. That's an interesting card, but I'm not sure how often it's going to be used. You'll have to build a deck, I think, specifically around it. Wolverine gets +1 attack for each opposing character die. And he can't be targeted by global abilities, so that's kind of neat. Polaris, Boom Boom. Every time you use a global ability, you do 1 damage to the opponent, so that makes you want to use them. The Blob. Nothing can move the Blob. So he captures characters. This does 1 damage. Banshee does a lot of damage to smaller dice. Bishop prevents damage and can redirect damage. Avalanche can target level 1 characters. There's some more Nocturne. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Polaris and Storm. It's now time to show you my 10 favorite cards from the set. Or at least the 10 favorite that I got. So first, we have this Juggernaut card here. When he's fielded, all opposing character dice get -2 attack until the end of the turn. That's a pretty handy card to have. I like it. Scarlet Witch. When she's active, your opponent must re-roll any action dice that land on an action phase and cannot re-roll any action dice on energy phases. That's really neat. I like that. They have to, so if they have action dice, they have to re-roll them, and then if they roll poorly, they're not going to get to re-roll them again. The Blackbird, if you're using X-Men, this one's great. It only costs 3, and your opponent has to pay to block your X-Men character dice, which means they need to save energy to do such, or else your X-Men are just going to walk through. Morph, who's one of my favorite characters in the entire Marvel universe, and he can become a copy of a non-sidekick character, or, you'll notice I have 2 Morph cards in my top 10. I can choose a basic action card. When he attacks, you use the double star version of its effect, or I have 3 Morph cards in my top 10. Choose a target opposing character die, and he becomes a copy of that die. That's the sort of stuff I like in games, to copy other things. Phoenix Storm, this is one of the ultra rares, and normally I don't care one whit about ultra rares, but I like how when you field her, you draw a die from your bag, and that is, you deal damage equal to the cost to your opponent and all opponent's character dice. That is amazing, especially if you get some high cost dice in your bag. Boom Boom. Whenever you use a basic action, die does 2 damage to target opponent. It's a very simple ability, and she costs 2. That's why I like this one so much. I'm a big fan of basic action dice, so I get her, use these, and start doing damage to my opponents. Hellfire Club is my second favorite card in this set because it lets you put villains for free. And when you field a villain, you prep a die from your bag. And again, it only costs 2. I like to use villain decks, and so that's fun. And my favorite card is the counterpoint to Morph, and that's Mimic. When fielded, copy the printed attack and defense of a target character die. When a copy of that die is fielded, draw 2 dice from your bag and prep them. So he copies someone else's attack and defense, which is great. And when they put out another copy, you draw 2 dice from your bag. That's just a really good ability for someone who costs 3. The biggest problem is without that, he's kind of garbage. But anyway, these are some of the cards from the set. Now I like the Awaken ability. That's the new big ability. Infiltrate's kind of new. It was introduced in the last DC set. I love Infiltrate, and I'm kind of bummed that there's as little as it is in this expansion because I wish more characters had it. I do like the Morph and Mimic copying abilities. I like the fact that I can now have Morph, Mimic, Blink, and Nocturne, and a few other of those people on a team. I can make my externals team, but I also have all the X-Men. I mean, this has a lot of these characters were already in other sets, but I don't care. It's just good to see them all in this one set. You want X-Men, this is X-Men. There's not this stray Avenger following in. I think this is pretty much all X-Men or villains for them, along with a few things that we haven't seen before. I'm pretty sure there's a Sasquatch's first appearance in the set. The Awaken ability is interesting. You have to kind of build. It's going to require more thought when building because Awaken is only really going to work if you have a way to spin that character up. So you're going to have to put something in there, even if it's just a basic action die, of being able to spin up characters. So you need to keep that in mind. Other than that, this set doesn't really change the playing level field. It gives you more characters you like, which is a huge thing for me. And it also adds the Awaken ability, which is cool. Again, not too mind-blowing, and on almost every card that awakens on it tells you how to work it, so that's good. Other than that, I'm just really happy with this set. Again, I think I'm kind of tuning towards the characters. I don't like that it's too complex. There's a lot of neat things, and now I want to play more thematic teams with this. I want to play an X-Men team. I want to play an X-Men team versus a Magneto team. I think that'd be good. Have Magneto bring a couple Sentinels along for the fun of it. So some pretty neat stuff here. I think at this point, probably the only people watching these reviews are people who love Dice Masters. I think you'll love this set too. Dice Tower Judgment, excellent!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.